We have reached the final lesson in Sun Tzu's 14 Ways of Deception. This lesson is the masterstroke: appear where and when unexpected. While the previous lesson taught us to attack the unprepared, the weak lock, or the open window, this final deception is about attacking the impossible. It is the art of appearing in a place or at a time the enemy has mentally crossed off the map. It is not just hitting a weak spot. It is appearing where the enemy believes no one can exist. The element of surprise is a psychological hammer. When you appear from an impossible direction, perhaps over a jagged mountain range or through a trackless swamp, or at an impossible time, such as the dead of a brutal winter, you do more than just win a battle. You throw the enemy completely off balance. You force their commanders to rethink every plan they have ever made. However, Sun Tzu offers a stern warning. Some positions are unexpected for a reason. Do not confuse a surprise maneuver with a suicidal one. In surprising the enemy, you must never put your own forces in a position of fatal weakness. In the modern theater, this lesson is often written in the earth of the landscape and the heaven of the seasons. Take the cross-border incursion, Kursk 2024. For over 2 years, the border in certain northern regions was seen as static, no go zone for large-scale offensive maneuvers. By appearing across that border, a place the enemy high command had essentially discounted as a viable front, the opposing force achieved a level of shock that paralyzed the regional response for days. Take the winter offensive. History is full of armies that settled into winter quarters, believing the heaven of freezing cold made movement impossible. When a force defies the seasons and launches a high-speed maneuver in sub-zero temperatures, they find an enemy that is literally and figuratively frozen. Take deep rear strikes, using long-range technology to appear in the rear, hundreds of miles behind the front lines, in cities the enemies thought were beyond the reach of the war. Why is this the last deception? Because it is the most difficult to counter. If an enemy can appear anywhere, at any time, then no position is truly secure. This forces the enemy to spread their method and discipline so thin that they become brittle. When the commander can no longer trust their own maps or their own calendar, their wisdom turns into paranoia. We have concluded our journey through the 14 ways of deception, ending with the most profound of them all, the art of appearing where and when it is considered impossible. In the grand scroll of preparation and plans, Sun Tzu reminds us that the ultimate commander doesn't just look for a weak spot. They look for the enemy's mental blind spots. While attacking the unprepared is a matter of intelligence, appearing where you are not expected is a matter of audacity. In the Russia-Ukraine war, we have seen that the most stable front lines are often the most vulnerable to the impossible move. Take the border gamble. For years, the international borders outside the immediate Donbas theater were treated as a static barrier. By launching a high-speed incursion into a region like Kursk, the opposing force didn't just seize ground, they seized the ODA loop of the entire Russian high command. They appeared in a direction the enemy had mentally erased from the war map. Take the seasonal shift. We see it in the heaven of the conflict. While traditional military thought suggests that an army should take its ease during the mud and the ice of the winter, the commander who moves when the world is frozen creates a level of shock that no fortification can withstand. Why is this the final lesson? Because it is the multiplier of all other deceptions. If you can move your army to a position, and at a time the enemy has not remotely anticipated, you break their method and discipline. You force a 10-strength army to panic, turning their raw power into a liability as they scramble to defend a backdoor they didn't know existed. As we've seen in the modern theater, when a commander can no longer trust their own assumptions about where the enemy is, their wisdom is replaced by chaos. Sun Tzu's war tip remains the ultimate guide. Move to a position and at a time the enemy has not remotely anticipated. In the high-stakes calculation of modern warfare, the most devastating blow isn't the one that hits the hardest. It is the one that arrives from a direction the enemy thought was impossible. He who masters the when and the where masters the fate of nations.